Man-hours per unit estimates from software and books often assume ideal conditions, which may not reflect real-world scenarios. Many factors affect the accuracy of these estimates. Project complexity, site conditions, labor efficiency, and overhead are a few. Project complexity can significantly impact the man-hours required. The estimates may not account for unforeseen challenges or variations from industry standards. Site conditions, such as access to work areas, material availability, and coordination with other trades, also influence the time required. The electrician's skill level and experience will impact the work efficiency and time taken. Overhead costs like materials, equipment, and administrative expenses may not be fully accounted for in the estimates. Given your experience in heavy industrial electrical power and controls, you've likely seen instances where man-hours per unit estimates were inaccurate. As you transition to light commercial, agricultural, and new residential work, keep the following in mind. Firstly, consider lower project complexity. While these projects may be less complex than heavy industrial work, variations from standardized estimates can still occur. Secondly, understand the site variability. Rural areas often present unique site conditions that can affect work efficiency. Thirdly, take into account customer preferences. Residential and commercial customers may have specific requirements or preferences that influence the scope of work. Fourthly, be aware of labor availability. The availability of skilled electricians in rural areas may be limited, which can affect labor costs. I have a few recommendations to help make your estimates accurate. Firstly, use estimates as a starting point. Estimates provide a general idea of project requirements, but adjust them based on your experience and the specific conditions of your projects. Secondly, factor in overhead costs. Ensure that your estimates include all relevant costs, including materials, equipment, and administrative expenses. Thirdly, allow for contingencies. Account for unforeseen challenges or variations from standard practices by including a contingency factor in your estimates. Fourthly, network with local trades. Establish connections with other tradespeople in the area to gain insights into project conditions and labor availability. Finally, consider subcontracting. For complex tasks or when labor demands are high, consider outsourcing specific aspects of the project to qualified subcontractors. Carefully consider the factors that affect man-hours per unit estimates and adjust them based on your experience and the specific project conditions. This will help increase the accuracy of your estimates and ensure profitability in your new venture. Factors such as project complexity, site conditions, labor efficiency, and overhead significantly influence the man-hours needed for a project. Consider these influences when making your estimate. Site conditions include access to work areas, material availability, and coordination with other trades, all influencing the time required. Labor efficiency is determined by the skill level and experience of the electrician. The more skilled the electrician, the less time needed for a task. Overhead costs like materials, equipment, and administrative expenses need to be included in your estimate. When transitioning to light commercial, agricultural, and new residential work, keep in mind that the complexity is lower than your previous heavy industrial work, but there may still be variations from standardized estimates. Also, rural areas often present unique site conditions that can affect work efficiency. Residential and commercial customers may have specific requirements or preferences that influence the scope of work, and the availability of skilled electricians in rural areas may be limited, which can affect labor costs. Use your initial estimates as a starting point, but consider adjusting them based on your experience and the specific conditions of your projects. Make sure you include all relevant costs, including materials, equipment, and administrative expenses, and include a contingency factor in your estimates to account for unforeseen challenges or variations from standard practices. Establish connections with other tradespeople in the area to gain insights into project conditions and labor availability, and for complex tasks or when labor demands are high, consider outsourcing specific aspects of the project to qualified subcontractors. By carefully considering these factors and adjusting them based on your experience and the specific project conditions, you can increase the accuracy of your estimates and ensure profitability in your new venture. Remember to factor in all costs, including labor, materials, and overhead, when creating your estimates. Also, consider the location of the project and any potential challenges that may arise due to the site conditions. By doing so, you can create more accurate estimates and ensure that your projects are completed on time and within budget. Be sure to keep up to date on the current labor rates in your area. Ensure you're paying your employees fairly and are competitive with other companies. This will attract and retain qualified workers, leading to an efficient workforce. Also, ensure you consider the cost of tools and equipment. Factor in the cost of depreciation, maintenance, and replacement of tools and equipment when estimating project costs. This will help you to accurately assess the true cost of completing the project. Always remember to factor in profit margin to cover your business operations and generate a return on your investment. Determine a profit margin that is sustainable for your business while remaining competitive in the market. By understanding the components of electrical estimating and following best practices, you can develop accurate estimates that contribute to the success and profitability of your electrical contracting business. Electrical estimating software can save time and improve accuracy. However, it's important to understand how the software works and to review the results carefully. Ensure your software is up to date. Stay current with updates to estimating software to access the latest features, bug fixes, and industry standards. Training on the software is essential. Invest in training for yourself and your staff to maximize the utilization of electrical estimating software and its features. Data input accuracy is a must. Accurate data input is crucial for generating reliable estimates. Verify the accuracy of all input data, including labor rates, material costs, and project specifications. Project complexity directly affects estimating accuracy. Review project specifications and drawings carefully to identify potential challenges and complexities. This review should include all aspects of the project that may impact the estimate. Complexity considerations include, firstly, the scope of work. Review the project scope of work to identify the tasks that need to be performed and their complexity. Secondly, consider the project size. Larger projects may involve more complex coordination and logistical challenges. Thirdly, consider the project location. Projects in remote or difficult to access locations may require additional resources and time. Fourthly, consider the project schedule. Tight deadlines may require additional resources and overtime to complete the project on time. Fifthly, consider the project specifications. Projects with complex or unique specifications may require specialized skills and equipment. Sixthly, consider the project design. Review the project design to identify any potential design flaws or challenges that may impact the estimate. Seventhly, consider the project materials. Projects that require specialized or hard-to-find materials may involve additional procurement and logistical challenges. Eighthly, consider the project labor. Evaluate the availability of skilled labor and their hourly rates, which can impact project costs. And finally, consider project risk. Assess potential risks and uncertainties that may impact project costs, such as weather delays, material price increases, or labor shortages. Accurate electrical estimating requires a comprehensive understanding of project requirements, careful consideration of all relevant factors, and a commitment to accuracy and attention to detail. By following these best practices, electrical contractors can develop reliable estimates that contribute to the success and profitability of their projects. Site conditions have a major impact on man-hour estimates. Firstly, consider accessibility. Limited access to work areas can increase labor costs and project duration. Secondly, consider the terrain. Uneven or sloped terrain can hinder equipment movement and increase the risk of accidents. Thirdly, consider weather conditions. Extreme weather can cause delays and impact labor productivity. Fourthly, consider the availability of utilities. The lack of on-site utilities can increase the cost of temporary power and water. Fifthly, consider site safety. Safety hazards such as confined spaces or hazardous materials can require additional safety precautions and training. Sixthly, consider the permits and inspections. Obtaining permits and scheduling inspections can add to project delays and costs. Seventhly, consider the material storage. Limited space for material storage can increase handling costs and the risk of damage or theft. And finally, consider the coordination with other trades. Poor coordination with other trades can cause delays and rework, increasing project costs. By considering these site conditions and their potential impact on project costs, electrical contractors can develop more accurate estimates and minimize the risk of cost overruns. Always visit the site prior to estimating. Performing a thorough site inspection is crucial for accurate electrical estimating. During the site visit, contractors should assess the physical characteristics of the site, identify potential challenges, and gather relevant information that may impact project costs. Some of the key items to assess during a site visit include the following. Firstly, document existing conditions. Take photos and videos to document existing site conditions, including existing electrical systems, structures, and environmental factors. Secondly, identify potential hazards. Look for potential hazards such as asbestos, lead paint, or underground utilities that may require special handling or remediation. Thirdly, verify dimensions and measurements. Verify the accuracy of dimensions and measurements provided in project documents and take additional measurements as needed. Fourthly, assess site access and logistics. Evaluate site access, parking availability, and material storage options to determine the impact on project logistics and costs. Fifthly, evaluate existing utilities. Locate existing electrical, plumbing, and HVAC systems to determine their capacity and condition and identify any potential conflicts with the proposed work. Sixthly, consider the environmental factors. Assess environmental factors such as soil conditions, drainage patterns, and vegetation to determine their impact on excavation, grading, and landscaping costs. Seventhly, coordinate with other trades. Communicate with other tradespeople and stakeholders to coordinate schedules, address potential conflicts, and gather information that may impact the electrical estimate. By performing a thorough site inspection and gathering relevant information, electrical contractors can develop more accurate estimates and minimize the risk of surprises or cost overruns during the project. Always keep the customer in mind when estimating. Considering customer preferences is essential for accurate electrical estimating, as it helps to align project specifications with customer expectations and avoid costly change orders or rework. Customer preferences can impact various aspects of the electrical estimate. Firstly, consider the materials and equipment. Customers may have specific preferences for certain brands, types, or finishes of electrical materials and equipment. Secondly, consider the design and layout. Customers may have specific preferences for the design and layout of electrical systems, such as lighting fixtures, outlets, or switches. Thirdly, consider the technology and automation. Customers may want to incorporate advanced technologies or automation features into their electrical systems, such as smart home devices or energy management systems. Fourthly, consider the energy efficiency. Customers may be concerned about energy efficiency and may want to use energy-efficient lighting, appliances, or renewable energy sources. Fifthly, consider the aesthetics. Customers may have specific aesthetic preferences for electrical components, such as decorative lighting fixtures or hidden wiring. Sixthly, consider the budget. Customers may have budget constraints that require contractors to make trade-offs or propose cost-effective alternatives. Seventhly, consider the future needs. Customers may have future plans or needs that should be considered when designing and estimating the electrical system. By taking customer preferences into account and incorporating them into the electrical estimates, contractors can improve customer satisfaction, reduce the risk of change orders or rework, and build long-term relationships. Labor availability also has an impact on man-hour estimates. Firstly, consider the local labor market. Research the local labor market to determine the availability of skilled electricians and their hourly rates. Secondly, consider the prevailing wage laws. Comply with prevailing wage laws and regulations which may require contractors to pay minimum wage rates and benefits to workers on certain projects. Thirdly, consider the union agreements. Be aware of union agreements and labor contracts that may impact labor costs and work rules. Fourthly, consider the overtime requirement. Plan for overtime requirements and factor in the cost of overtime pay when estimating labor costs. Fifthly, consider the training and certification. Prioritize training and certification for electricians to ensure they have the skills and knowledge needed to perform the work safely and efficiently. Sixthly, consider the workers' compensation insurance. Obtain workers' compensation insurance to protect against liability for workplace injuries or illnesses. Seventhly, consider the employee benefits. Factor in the cost of employee benefits such as health insurance, retirement plans, and paid time off when estimating labor costs. Eighthly, consider the safety programs. Implement comprehensive safety programs to minimize the risk of accidents and injuries, which can impact labor productivity and costs. And finally, consider the recruitment and retention. Develop strategies for recruiting and retaining skilled electricians to ensure a stable workforce and minimize turnover costs. By considering labor availability and its impact on project costs, electrical contractors can develop more accurate estimates and manage labor resources effectively. Contingency plans are another tool to accurately create man-hour estimates. Firstly, identify potential risks. Identify potential risks and uncertainties that may impact project costs, such as weather delays, material price increases, or labor shortages. Secondly, quantify the impact. Quantify the potential impact of each risk on project costs and develop contingency plans to mitigate the risks. Thirdly, allocate contingency funds. Allocate contingency funds to cover unexpected costs or changes that may arise during the project. Fourthly, monitor project progress. Monitor project progress closely to identify potential problems or delays and take corrective action promptly. Fifthly, communicate with stakeholders. Communicate with stakeholders regularly to keep them informed of project progress, potential risks, and contingency plans. Sixthly, document all changes. Document all changes to the project scope, schedule, or budget and obtain written approval from stakeholders before proceeding with the changes. Seventhly, review and update. Review and update contingency plans regularly to ensure they remain relevant and effective. By implementing contingency plans and managing project risks effectively, electrical contractors can minimize the risk of cost overruns and ensure project success. Communication with other trades is essential for creating man-hour estimates. Firstly, coordinate schedules. Coordinate schedules with other trades to avoid conflicts and delays and ensure that work is performed in the correct sequence. Secondly, share information. Share information with other trades about project specifications, drawings, and schedules to ensure that everyone is working from the same information. Thirdly, resolve conflicts. Resolve conflicts or discrepancies promptly and effectively to avoid delays or rework. Fourthly, attend meetings. Attend project meetings with other trades to discuss progress, address concerns, and coordinate activities. Fifthly, use technology. Use technology tools such as building information modeling, or BIM, and project management software to facilitate communication and collaboration with other trades. Sixthly, establish relationships. Establish relationships with other tradespeople and subcontractors to foster trust and cooperation. Seventhly, document agreements. Document all agreements and understandings with other trades in writing to avoid misunderstandings or disputes. By communicating and collaborating effectively with other trades, electrical contractors can minimize the risk of delays, conflicts, and cost overruns and ensure project success. There are a variety of software types that help create man-hour estimates. Contractors can use software for project management, job costing, accounting, and other business functions. Always perform software updates. Stay current with updates to estimating software to access the latest features, bug fixes, and industry standards. Training on the software is essential. Invest in training for yourself and your staff to maximize the utilization of electrical estimating software and its features. Accurate data input is a must. Accurate data input is crucial for generating reliable estimates. Verify the accuracy of all input data, including labor rates, material costs, and project specifications. When estimating, review project specifications and drawings carefully to identify potential challenges and complexities. This review should include all aspects of the project that may impact the estimate. There are different aspects of the project that are affected by complexity. The scope of work should be reviewed to identify the tasks that need to be performed and their complexity. Larger projects may involve more complex coordination and logistical challenges. Projects in remote or difficult-to-access locations may require additional resources and time. Tight deadlines may require additional resources and overtime to complete the project on time. Projects with complex or unique specifications may require specialized skills and equipment. Review the project design to identify any potential design flaws or challenges that may impact the estimate. Projects that require specialized or hard-to-find materials may involve additional procurement and logistical challenges. Evaluate the availability of skilled labor and their hourly rates, which can impact project costs. Assess potential risks and uncertainties that may impact project costs, such as weather delays, material price increases, or labor shortages. Accurate electrical estimating requires a comprehensive understanding of project requirements, careful consideration of all relevant factors, and a commitment to accuracy and attention to detail.